So I had to come up with a compelling reason why this person would be buried alive. And naturally, the first inclination was to go kind of the horror film route, because it's a natural association. Someone buried alive, we generally say, all right, that's a horror film. But I just kind of wanted to do something that hadn't been done before, which obviously I was initially setting out to do by having a guy buried alive for a whole movie anyway, but I wanted to have something that was completely unique. So I actually wrote a whole script that was more of a horror thriller, scrapped it, did a page 1 rewrite, and that was after I'd done quite a bit of research about the contractors working in Iraq and how frequently they're being taken hostage and held for ransom. It's happening far often than we realize, certainly far often than we read about, unfortunately. So in talking with a lot of contractors, I reached out to a lot of them, and the saddest part about what I learned is that they just wanted their story to be told. And I'm not, there's no pretension in what I'm telling you. I'm not saying that so I felt it was my job to tell their story. However, I thought it was, I'm not a documentary filmmaker. If I was, I would have maybe made a documentary about this. I'm a narrative filmmaker and a narrative storyteller. So I wanted to marry a piece of fiction with some truth, and in the process, help get their story out. So that was the story I created with Buried, where you have a guy that is taken hostage, he's held for ransom, buried underground, he's given a cell phone, and he's basically told you have till 9 o'clock tonight to coordinate your own ransom, or unfortunately that's where you're going to stay. So that was the start of Buried. So now I was at a place where I was confident, I had a good script, I had a good idea, something unique. So then I started pre-production on what I thought would be this $5,000 movie, more or less. I wanted to cast an actor with some name recognition, again, a lesson learned from previous films. Someone that I could probably shoot out in 7 days. Just someone that people can turn on the TV and say, hey, I know that guy. So that was the process I was involved in at that point. And it's funny because my wife and I often laugh about this, because I was on the fence as to whether I was going to shoot it in Rhode Island or Los Angeles. It actually depended on where this actor was, whoever that person may be. So I had a friend in Los Angeles who, when I lived there, was roommates with. And I remember telling him, like, Joe, listen, this is what I'm doing. There's the sequence, the person's buried alive, and there's a lot of sand involved, so I may need you to start taking daily trips down to Santa Monica and just getting buckets full of sand, because we're going to need it. So that's kind of just to give you an idea of the scope of the film that I thought I was going to be making. Luckily, I sent the script out after about 6 months. Actually, I hadn't. But after about 6 months, I sent it to a producer contact that I had made as a result of my first film out in Los Angeles. And I didn't send it to him because I thought, he's a big Hollywood guy. He makes big movies. Why would he be interested about my guy in a box? I don't understand. So just one night I did, and it was a good move because he flipped for it. And that's what started the whole process, where then it got me my agent, it got into the hands of the right producer, and I think from March '09, it went out wide to producers, and it was playing in Sundance in January 2010. It doesn't work that way, is what I keep getting told.